Hello, and welcome to a short video on how to manage your energy for resilience in turbulent times. This is designed for frontline NHS workers as they respond to COVID-19 on our behalf. My name is Chris Patterson. I'm a coach with the London Leadership Academy. I'm so grateful for all the amazing work that you're doing for us. In these turbulent times, there are unprecedented demands on our energy. And this video will give you some top tips for how to navigate this and bring about your best energy when you most need it. Energy and resilience are closely linked. There's lots of talk about resilience at the moment, and sometimes it can be a bit confusing with all the different definitions flying around. For the purposes of today, I'd like us to work with the definition that resilience is our ability to bring our best energy when we most need it. Now, we can't be super resilient all the time. That just isn't possible. As human beings, we suffer fluctuations of energy and fluctuations in moods as well, and those can sometimes get in the way of our ability to be resilient. One of the ways we can start to channel our energy is to really focus on, why do I need to be resilient? For whom do I need to be resilient? Maybe it's not just about me, maybe this is about others. And when in particular do I need to be resilient? That's a great starting point for us. A framework that can be really helpful in this context as well is appreciating what we can control and what we can't control. There's a circle of concern, and there's lots of things that sit in that at the moment. Of course, COVID-19 is one of those, Brexit, exchange rates, whether there's a traffic jam, whether there's a train strike. All of these are things that have the potential to affect us, and there's absolutely nothing we can do about them. We can expend energy trying to do something about them, but ultimately it'll be a waste of our energy. If we can discern what's in our control and refocus our energy on that, we get much better results for the energy that we've got. And what really sits in the circle of control is what we say and what we do. In the circle of influence, maybe some of our thoughts and our feelings may be in that. But if we really just focus about, okay, today in this situation, what can I do? What can I say? Then that's the best way we can preserve our energy. The key concept I want to share with you today is the idea of an energy battery. For those of us who have smartphones, you'll be aware of how much battery you have on your phone. You'll be aware of how many bars of signal you have at any moment in time. And I'd like to extend this analogy to think about how much energy we each have personally. One of the ways of visualizing this is to use the oldest digital technology that I'm aware of, the 5 fingers on our hands. So for the purpose of this, 5 represents a full energy battery. A fist represents 0, that's no energy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 again. This is how we can signify different levels of energy. Now, how does this relate to our resilience? This is a tool that you can use to get a greater awareness of your energy levels and how they fluctuate over time. As a starting point, just ask yourself right now as you listen to this, where's my energy battery? What score would I give myself right now? That's a data point for you. The invitation is for you to regularly check in with yourself. Maybe first thing in the morning, maybe round about the middle of your day, maybe towards the end of your day. Just notice where your energy battery is. And in that noticing, seeing whether there's something maybe that you need to do. If you notice that your energy battery is constantly at a 1 or a 2, then that's probably quite a strong sign that something needs to change. Can our energy batteries be a 5 all the time? No, they can't. That's just simply unrealistic. But actually, what are the things that we can do that start to keep our energy battery at a 3, a 4, and a 5 when we most need it? One of the ways we can do this is to think about what boosts and what drains our energy. Start to get a sense of your trademark signature energy levels. What are the things that naturally energize you? What are the things that drain you? They'll be different for all of us. The better you know these for yourself, then the better you can manage your energy levels. We can also take this a little bit further and look at different dimensions of energy. We can split our energy into the physical energy, our personal energy, into physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual energy. They are all interrelated, and sometimes focusing on particular areas of our energy can help us with our energy management. So what do we mean by each of these? Well, the physical energy is the quantity of our energy. This is to do with how much sleep we get. It's to do with our nutrition, our hydration, and our movement. We then have emotional energy. This links to things like our moods, how we're feeling within ourselves, and can be described as the quality of the energy that we bring. Our mental energy is all about our ability to focus, and the spiritual energy is about our why, about our purpose, and can be described as the force of our energy. There are some simple diagnostic questionnaires that you can ask to get more information about how you are with these different dimensions of energy. And then I'll share my email address at the end. If you want to find out more, please send me an email and I can send those to you. So the first key concept was the energy battery. The second key concept is the idea of strategic recovery. This is how we weave bits of recovery into a working day so that we can manage our energy level proactively. And what I've got for you here are some different ideas that loosely correlate with the different dimensions of energy. As you'll see, it can sometimes be a bit artificial to split these out. So for example, getting outside is something that may help our physical energy. And depending on where we are outside, that may also help our emotional energy and also our mental energy, if that means we're taking a break from what we're doing. So there's a number of different things here, and these are just suggestions. And what I would really invite you to do is to look at these and come up with ideas of your own. Let me just highlight a few of these for you. In the emotional energy, we've got gratitude exercises. Let me ask you just to pause right now and think about something or somebody that you're genuinely grateful for, and just sit with that for a few seconds. And then ask yourself, how was that? When I do this exercise with other people, they report back that they felt good. They felt some sort of either positive emotion or actually even got a physical sense of feeling good as a result of it. How long did that take? It was a matter of seconds. This technology is available to you everywhere you go. The problem is that we forget. How do we remember not to forget? Well, one of the ways we can do that is by attaching this to another ritual that we already do as a form of trigger. I had a colleague who used to cycle to work, and she said that one of the roads that she cycled down was Gratitude Road. That was where she did her gratitude exercises. Now, for those of you who don't cycle, for those of you who don't have a commute at the moment, then maybe you can think about, well, what are you doing when you're brushing your teeth? Normally that's twice a day for most people. What are you doing when you're boiling the kettle to make a cup of tea? What other ritual do you have that you could attach this to as a way of remembering not to forget? In terms of the mental recovery, I want to draw your attention to the mindful minute meditation. Meditation is often associated with being in a certain place and needing lots of time. In my experience, even just a minute can be enough. How to do this in practical terms? Find a quiet space, take a smartphone with you and set a timer for 1 minute. Sit comfortably with your feet on the ground, start the timer and close your eyes and count the number of breaths. And when the minute's up, just notice how many of that was. After a couple of times of doing this, you'll see the number of breaths is roughly the same each time. And what that means is now that you can do this anywhere without a smartphone. And this is a great way of just punching some daylight through the clouds in your day. You can use this when you've just had a tough conversation or a stressful situation. Just use this as a mindful minute as a reset. Or if you know you're about to go into something that's going to be challenging for you, just pause, take a mindful minute. You can use it as a way of preparing to go into the workplace, or as a way of transitioning from work to home. Stop, take a minute, notice what happens. So there's lots of different things that you can do. And if you can come up with the idea is, what can you do in a minute actually? And see how many of these, if you had just 1 minute, what would you do? Which of these appeals to you most? Now, these are some ideas. If we don't try them, they're next to useless. What's really, really important is we put this into practice. And here's a way that you can do this. This is a training log. It's a way of taking ideas, turning them into rituals so that they might become habits. So what you have is your days of the week here, and a space where you can put your score for your energy battery, morning, lunch, or evening. And then there's space for your strategic recovery. The invitation is to pick 5 things that you're willing to try for 1 minute each at some point during a working day. They could be taken from the previous slide, or they could be ideas of your own. It really doesn't matter. But the important thing is to try something. This training log is available for you as a handout in the comments section of the YouTube video. So you can download it and print that out for yourself. And if you really want to give yourself as much chance of doing this, then share it with someone else. Find a buddy who also wants to improve their energy management. Share what you're going to be working on, and you can support each other as you go together on this journey. The space at the bottom to think about what your focus for the week is going to be ahead. When you start with the blank template, which of the dimensions of energy do I really, really want to focus on? And each time you do one of your things in the strategic recovery, you can put a tick in that box and just notice whether there's a relationship between the ticks and your energy battery levels over that week. And then at the end of the week, you can capture the key learnings. What did I learn about myself and my energy management by doing this exercise? And the learning piece is massively important here, because learning is something that builds resilience. And at a time when there is so much that we can't control, being able to focus on our learning is something that we can control. Now, there's a quotation here: "A smooth sea never made a skillful sailor." So challenging times are opportunities for us to learn. Now, I fully appreciate that right now this may be feeling so challenging for us that actually, forget sailing a boat, we feel like we're being thrown overboard. But if you think back to last week and some of the things that you were finding really challenging last week, I suspect that those same things are slightly easier for you this week. And if you have to do those same things again next week, they'll be even easier. And the more that we can mine for learning in these challenging times, then the more resilient that we can become. A final thought for you is the idea that seeking help is a sign of resilience. This is something that doesn't come naturally to me at all. And throughout my working life, I thought that I had to have the answers, I had to be strong, and that it was a sign of weakness or even failure if I reached out and asked for help for someone. As I took on more and more challenging positions, I found myself a little bit out of my depth, and I wasn't willing to ask for help. What ended up happening was that I got incredibly stressed and I had to take some time off work, over a month off work with stress. Those are really, really tough times, and I think I could have avoided them had I been better at asking for help. What you have on this slide are a couple of quotations from the wonderful Charlie Mackesy, who says so much to me in these drawings that he does, and just a different perspective on the idea that actually asking for help is bravery, but it's also a way of showing that we refuse to give up. These are absolutely unprecedented times. We're all going through things that we never thought we'd have to face. and many of us are struggling. And it's really normal that we are struggling in such unprecedented times. And the sign of a resilient person is to recognize that actually I'm not okay, even in some small way, and say, and you know what, let's see if I can get some support. Let's see if I can get some help so that I can get back on track sooner. So that was just a couple of brief concepts, the idea of an energy battery, strategic recovery, and turning that into something tangible with a training log. And I've recorded this this short video. There's so much more that we could talk about, and I'd be delighted to offer my services for free for anyone in the NHS to support them on their journey of becoming more resilient and managing their energy better. My email address is smilebecurious@gmail.com, and you can contact me to have one-to-one conversations. I'd also be very happy to have conversations with whole teams of people or groups of people who want to talk about resilience and energy management as well. Thank you all so much for all the amazing work that you're doing in these really, really challenging conditions. And thank you also for your time on this short video. Goodbye.